Chris Hager.
Hey everybody, I'm Scotty J. You are watching Rock Titan TV. Our guest today has been a staple in the LA rock scene for decades. He's a founding member of Mickey Ratt that went on to become the band you know as Ratt. He then joined Rough Cutt as a guitarist alongside some other folks you may know, like Jakey Lee from Ozzy Osbourne. And he's been very heavily involved in the Stand Up and Shout Cancer Fund for the legend Ronnie James Dio. And as a matter of fact, Ronnie James Dio's wife, Wendy, is the manager for Rough Cutt. And the guest that we have with us right now also happens to be a mentor and a coach for sobriety and those seeking it. And I just want to introduce our guest right now, Chris Hager, guitarist for Rough Cutt. Chris, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Scott. Thanks for having me, and hello, everybody out
there. Yeah, man. No, welcome. Welcome to Rock Titan Television.
Right?
So, how's life out there in California?
Well, dude, I live in the San Fernando Valley, and it's hot as hell out here. we're waiting for the weather to change, maybe another week or so, but it's getting there. But you know, it's kind of what we deal with out here.
Yeah, yeah.
But,
well,
yeah. Otherwise, it's great. Otherwise, it's great.
Cool deal.
You know, I've
cool.
got a lot of great folks that I know that live within a 10-mile radius of me, and so on.
Right on. Well, I know you're a very busy man because we were supposed to catch up, I guess, what was it, last week? Or actually a couple weeks ago, I guess, at this point, for Ronnie Dio's Bowling for Ronnie for his Stand Up and Shout Cancer Fund. How did that go?
You know, it went fantastic, actually. The fund actually raised the most money it's ever raised. It raised
awesome.
$49,000.
Awesome.
Which is great. I think to date they've raised just shy of $2 million for cancer research.
Wow, that's awesome.
And that's through the various events, bowling, the Ride for Ronnie,
sure,
other events that Wendy's done. So it's definitely I think we're making a dent.
That's awesome. That's very cool. And I know you've been involved with that particular fund, that charity. I guess since its inception, huh?
What's that?
Since its inception, I guess you've really been involved with the Stand Up and Shout Cancer Fund.
Yeah. Well, I got more involved in the past year.
Okay.
When I reconnected with Wendy.
Okay.
So it's really been the past year or so.
All right.
We it's an interesting story. I mean.
Well, tell it. Here we are, man. Here we are.
How much time you got, bro?
Hey, man, time is yours. Let's go. Let's do this, Hager. Come on, man. Let's do this.
So basically, Wendy was Rough Cutt's manager back
right.
Yep. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And Ronnie was our mentor.
Okay.
And Ronnie also, he produced our first demos.
Wow.
They both really took us under their wing.
Very cool.
And which was a very cool and amazing time for a bunch of 20-something-year-old kids, right?
You were in the height of it, man. Especially out there.
Oh yeah. So we were fortunate enough to tour extensively with Ronnie and got to do a lot of really cool stuff. After the band disbanded, we sort of, all fell out of touch. Late 80s. Basically, the whole 80s thing was over with anyway, right?
Right.
And so we sort of fell out of touch, and the band members sort of, we keep in touch, especially
cool.
some of us more than others, but we all sort of kept in touch and so on. For example, Matt and I did a few projects throughout the years. I did a project with Mir back around 2000. I did some stuff with him, but we hadn't. A lot of us hadn't seen Wendy in 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and or maybe we'd run into her once or twice, but I think the first time I really ran into her was when we did the 5-year anniversary memorial for Ronnie.
Right.
A couple of years ago, and Rough Cutt got up and performed one song.
Okay.
And that was cool because we got to say hi, and it was really the first time we'd connected.
Wow.
And since 88,
wow.
89, something like that.
Wow.
And so that was cool. So sort of in the meantime, we got offered to do the Monsters cruise, and it was a good enough offer. We said, well, hey, let's do this.
That's cool.
And then we sort of said, why don't we think about putting the band back together and just seeing what kind of interest is out there, and
that's
all
awesome.
That. And so that's what we did. So we did some shows and so on. In the meantime, it was sort of a happenstance sort of thing where we met up with Wendy, and Paul and I did. And I think it's kind of a funny story because I think Wendy had gotten Paul's wife some tickets to Black Sabbath or something, and he wanted to bring her a bottle of wine to thank her for her, right? Nice. He was out here. I think we were rehearsing, actually. Okay. And Paul lives in Vegas. So he was out here staying with me. So he goes, do you mind if we run by Wendy's office? It's just out here, in the valley by where we live. I said, no, let's go, So we go over there to the office. We hadn't talked to this woman in years, right? And, we didn't really know what to expect. So we sat down with her, and we just wound up, talking for an hour,
That's
and
cool, man.
It was nothing.
Like you'd never even been apart.
Passed, and
that's cool.
It was a very cool experience, actually.
That's awesome, man.
And we just talked about everything, and she kind of showed us some of the stuff she was doing, and so on. So in the meantime, she had some merch and some things that she wanted to give us, and she had a bunch of stuff from way back in the day. So I went back over there and met with her again, and she and I started talking. And I think it was either by the second or third time it was, yes, I'd love to manage you guys again.
No kidding, man. Wow. That's wild. That's wild.
So I ran about it, guys, and everybody was like, gee, that's just a no-brainer. Let's do it,
That's cool.
And so, so we all met and so on. And she's just a wonderful lady. I mean, and she's got, she's one of the busiest people I know. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
She's got so many irons in the fire. It's not funny. So this is when we really started getting involved with the cancer fund and all that stuff.
All right.
And as time goes on, we're becoming more and more involved with it, and I'm excited about that because I think obviously it's a worthy cause.
Sure.
And it's what took Ronnie out, and I think you can talk to probably anybody who's been touched by cancer.
Yeah, yeah.
With either a friend or a family member.
Oh yeah.
So it's definitely a worthy cause, and so it's real cool to be associated with Wendy and Nietzsche again, and being a part of all that, and doing what we can do to contribute a little bit, and yeah.
So Rough Cutt's got a reboot, and you're able to give back to someone that had so much to do with the beginning of your career,
Mm-hmm.
And now here you are again. So everything's kind of gone full circle.
It's come full circle.
That's wild.
It's actually quite unique because, it's all the original guys, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And which is rare, as you well know.
Sure. Yeah. Right.
And,
oh my God. Especially bands from back then.
You've got the original, you've got the original guys that recorded the original records with Warner Brothers and all that, which is really pretty cool. And we've got other stuff we did as well. We've got demos that we did with Ronnie and so on. And so there's a lot there. And basically, so what's happening right now is basically Wendy's shopping a deal for Rough Cutt right now.
Who better? Who better to do it? That's awesome.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's like, I think, yeah, I get hit up by so many people every day, and I mean, Rough Cutt was not a huge selling band.
Right.
I mean, we weren't a multi-platinum act by any means, but we have this really cool cult following, and because we did tour.
Right.
So much. And,
well, you were in it. I mean, you were a big part of that movement. That LA rock scene that was coming up.
Yeah.
So I mean, you were definitely in it.
We didn't sell all the records that a lot of my friends did, unfortunately.
Sure.
But we certainly had all the other trappings, and with the touring, and we did Japan a few times, and Europe, and we were lucky enough to do stadiums in the States with Ronnie and all that stuff. So we've actually got a pretty cool fan base out there.
Nice.
And my thinking is that first thing would be
get you guys out to the East Coast. That's what you're thinking. You're thinking we got to go out to Philly, New York City.
Listen, man.
Baltimore.
I can't believe how many people have asked me to come out there. It's like, and we're working on it. We really are. Actually, we've got an agent. We're working all that stuff. It takes some time to get all that stuff together, and it's like it all has to be worked out so that the money makes sense.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, you just got to talk to some of the good old boys, because I mean, Pearcy was out here not too long ago with Ratt, so you just get the guys from Ratt to come along with you. I know that Sebastian Bach was out here. He blew us off in all his glory at the red carpet event at Bowling for Ronnie, but that's all good. No hard feelings on Seabass. But, you get him on board, and I mean, you could really make something happen. I know Bret Michaels has been out this way. So, I mean, you guys could really put something together, man.
Yeah. And,
I'll be your manager.
The thing is, I mean, obviously those are very big acts,
but you know all those guys.
They don't have too much trouble, getting bookings on another coast. The issue is always the flights and all that stuff. Sure. The money's got to be worth it. So for a band like us, it's like we got to go out. We have to coordinate a couple of dates to make the numbers work out and so on.
Right.
But we're looking to get on some festivals definitely, and we are doing Monsters of Rock in February.
Awesome.
So we're looking forward to that. But getting back to the record. We're as I say, she's in the middle of shopping that right now, and she's also shopping a bunch of Ronnie and Black Sabbath stuff at the same time. To me, it's like I think we owe the fans another record, and
that's so cool.
I really do, and I would like to give Rough Cutt's true fans another Rough Cutt record after all these years, and not to mention I just want to make a record, man. It's like
dude,
we've actually done a demo. We did a 4-song demo a couple months ago. So
so where's the EP, man?
What's that?
Where's the EP then?
Well, we're gonna wait a little bit on that.
Oh.
We want to do this right. So if we put something out, it's gonna be done right. I can tell you that.
Right on.
We're not gonna. The last thing any of us want to do is just throw something together. That's
Yep.
Anybody can do that. So it's gonna be, it's gonna be as good. That sonically, it's going to be as good as what we did before, if not better.
Awesome.
So we have done that already.
Very cool.
So that's what's getting shopped right now, and we'll see. I mean, there are no guarantees in this industry.
Yeah.
Do I have to tell you that?
No, right? Yeah. I mean, and you've been there. You've been there, done that. You know. I mean, it is. I mean, it's cutthroat. It definitely is.
There are no guarantees.
It's unforgiving. Everyone's got a short memory, you know, or I should say, a long memory in some circumstances, but I guess a short attention span. You know, so
yeah,
it's,
there you go.
You know, short attention span, long memory. But yeah, no, it's brutal. But I mean, just the fact that, you know, you're still doing it is huge. You know, because one of the things that I definitely want to get into and touch on is, you know, all the artists, you know, that have had like just a huge, amazing road in front of them and have it cut short, not because of an illness, you know, that befell, you know, Ronnie, like cancer, but, you know, addiction. And you see it all over the news these days. You know, I mean, the opioid epidemic is out of control. It's ridiculous. And, you know, of course, alcohol, it's always, you know, been there. And, you know, people have abused it.
That's been since the dawn of time.
Right, exactly.
You know, the good news about the opiate thing is that it's getting so much media attention now. And that's really just been in the last year or so.
Yeah.
But it's all over the news now. So that's the good news.
Yeah. Now I know you've been a mentor for sobriety. Is there a specific entity that you operate as a mentor and, you know, support system?
Yeah,
for?
I've actually got a coaching site on Facebook.
Okay.
It's Chris Hager Coaching, so you can check it out. I've also got a website, just www.chrishagercoaching.com.
Awesome.
And you can hit it from my music web site, chrishager.net as well. So if you kind of want to see what I do,
yeah, no, definitely, and I think it's important.
And just helping out,
you
know, other guys, because look, man, this, you know, I mainly focus on other people who are in the industry, and I know what the struggle is, man. It's like, you know, I've been through it. I've watched so many other people go through it.
Right.
You know, I'm fortunate to be alive. You know, I really am, and so I'm just grateful for that. And you know, it's but I can say whatever I want on the show.
Sure,
right?
yeah, no, man, let it fly. But yeah, I mean,
it's a motherfucker.
Yeah, it is, man. I mean, you know, being an artist like yourself, I mean, it's an emotional roller coaster. You know, kind of like we just touched on. You know, and I mean, it's great when everything's at its peak. You know, but then there's all those peaks and valleys. You know, and when the times get rough, you know, that's when people will turn to.
And
you know,
the older you get, like, you know, traveling and touring in your 20s and doing it in your 50s and 60s are two different things, my friend.
I'll take your word for it.
You know, when you've got a you know, 4 or 5 o'clock lobby call, you know, and you played at, you know, midnight the night before, and you know, situations like that. Not to mention just the temptation. I mean, you get out in the middle America, and you've got, you know, everybody wants to buy you a shot.
Yeah.
And, you know, so on like that. And it's so funny. Some of the looks you get, you know, it's like, you know, oh, thanks, that's great. You know, I don't drink, but I'll take a Red Bull or something. But,
right.
But it is, sometimes people just kind of look at me funny, like what? You don't what?
Right, right. But no, it's inspirational, Chris. Really, I mean, you're inspirational. I mean, and I know there's other real prominent artists out there, you know, that claim that they've never touched drugs or alcohol, like Gene Simmons. You know, I mean, and you almost kind of, to your point, like you look at yourself like you got 3 heads. It's like, whoa, you're a rock star. You know, sex, drugs, rock and roll. You know, doesn't it like all go hand in hand? Like, you know, how can you be this, you know, celebrity, this rock star, you know, and not indulge, you know, in some of these things,
well,
you know?
Yeah, I see what you mean. Well, I mean, guys like Simmons, you know, I mean, the thing is about 1 out of 10 people have the propensity for addiction. It's just it's a loose figure, but it's
Is it that low? I'm surprised it's not higher.
That means about 9 people out of 10 can have a couple drinks and just be cool with it.
Wow.
Maybe get a little tipsy.
Okay.
Or maybe they can smoke a joint.
Right.
Or maybe do some recreational drugs every now and then. And it doesn't impact their lives. But that other 10% of us, it's just like once we put that shit in our body, like requires more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so it's part of it's a physiological thing. And some of it's a lot of it's psychological, but it's just knowing, coming to terms with the fact that what the impact that addiction had on my life was, and realizing that I had to stop,
Yeah. Now, was there anything in particular that happened to you? And I don't want to get overly personal, or were there some artists out there, that you had interactions with, and all of a sudden one day you learn they're gone, and it was like, whoa, man.
Oh, well, I mean, Jesus, that's happened so much in just the past year or two.
Well,
right?
Sure, yeah. Was there anything in particular back in the day, though, that really shook you to your core?
Back in the day, it wasn't really that. It was just that, after Rough Cutt was gone, and what happened to me was basically we got into the early 90s.
Yeah.
The party was over.
Grunge, yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And, all these grunge guys were, they were more into the heroin thing and all that stuff. Back in the 80s, it was all about whiskey and cocaine,
yeah.
right? And maybe a little bit of other stuff on the side.
Yeah.
For some of us, it was more or less of other stuff. But,
right.
I mean, I started partying in the mid 70s, but, so I was full bore in the 80s, but, the party was over by the early 90s.
Right.
And the kind of music that I played was gone.
Right.
Yeah, that was butt rock. Nobody wanted to hear that.
Yeah, dude, that's sad. But the cool thing is, it really is making a resurgence. From everything I'm seeing and everything I'm hearing, and you got this fusion of youth now, this influx, I should say, of youth that are playing music that I grew up on, with you guys, and it's like, wow, man.
I agree. There's some great new rock music out there.
And it's this is the perfect time.
I hear people say, all the music sucks nowadays. That's not true.
No, man, and this is the perfect time for Rough Cutt to come back.
New rock bands out there, and that I listen to all the time. That I really dig is just as much as, in fact, I listen to them more than I, listen to the old stuff. Really.
Okay.
So of course, we all want to rock out to the old stuff occasionally. Right?
Dude, I still do, man. I listen to my hair metal, all the time. All the time.
Sure, you got to. I mean, but it's there's some great stuff out there.
Yeah.
And
anyone in particular that you feel is kind of like that new life into it?
There's a couple bands I could mention. 3 Days Grace.
Okay.
In This Moment.
Yeah, man, they're getting a lot of attention. But
right.
Maria, that doesn't hurt.
There's several others that I can't think of off the top of my head. But bands. Oh, Shinedown. I like them a lot.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of people are Shinedown. I mean, I like Shinedown, but a lot of people have been talking about them. Yeah.
And it's not that they're a super heavy band or anything.
Sure.
I think they just have great songs.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, that's what it's about, is the songs. It's like, I had a very wise, successful manager tell me a while back, and I really took this to heart, that the most successful of bands are the bands that are able to take a song and take a great song and fit it into a genre and, have it so that it's basically, it's like you could take a Frank Sinatra song and make it into a heavy metal song. If it's a great song, it's a great song.
Sure.
But to be able to cross over and to make in any given genre have a great song, and then you've got a good song is a good song.
Right. Right. Well, I guess it's kind of
we
like
all have our preferences on.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, it is interesting though. I mean, you bring up a real interesting point. I mean, one of the things that kind of hits me right away is, Disturbed's Jermaine. He took Simon and Garfunkel's song. And I mean
great job on that.
Oh man, and like you said, a great song's a great song.
Sends chills down my spine.
Right. And it's just one of those things that just transcends.
He killed that.
Yeah.
That was good. That's a great example.
So Rough Cutt needs to just do a good old Sinatra song, man.
Well,
put some steel on it.
I think we will. If everything pans out the way we hope it will, the way we hope it does, we will include a cover tune on there for sure.
Oh, dude, that would be so cool.
Yeah, got to. Right?
Yeah, man, right on,
yeah,
right
definitely.
on. So.
Yeah.
Chris Hager, again, everyone, we got so caught up in this conversation, usually I'm a lot better about saying, hey, everybody, we're here with Chris Hager from Rough Cutt, and, but we just got so engaged in this, but I'll make sure that everyone can see, what it is we're talking about and, all the good information in the lower thirds here. So, when everyone finally sees this thing live in real time, this will put our flair on it. But,
nice.
So, yes, sir. So, I guess, what's next? Obviously, we're in the height of the fall season here. The summer tour season's kind of coming to an end. A lot of folks are starting to head over to Europe and stuff like that. I guess the big thing right now is you got Wendy Dio shopping Rough Cutt material out there right now, yeah? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool.
Yeah, and we have an agent working on hopefully getting some festivals and probably some club dates. We're actually... on the 11th, we're actually going to be playing at Vamp.
I was just going to say Vamp, yeah.
So, man, fly out and see us, man. I mean, what better excuse is there to come to Vegas, right?
Yeah, no, there is no better excuse. I just need, Monster Energy to pick up the tab or something like that. You hear me, Monster? You paying attention?
Right?
Yeah. A little sponsor didn't hurt anybody. So,
well, they will. So so that's what we got going, and of course we've all got our own projects that we're working on in terms of not just band wise, but a lot of us are doing musical cues for TV and stuff like that.
Cool.
And just stuff that pays the rent, we're, like I say, nothing's for sure in this world, in the music industry. I mean, look, even if we get to make a great record, we're not going to make any money on it.
That's funny. It is.
Nobody does.
Yeah, it's amazing how times have changed a little bit.
Echelon.
Yeah.
And you make all the money on touring, merch.
Right.
There's other ways to do it, but it's just not about that anymore. Sure. But it is about putting something quality out there, and then having people maybe want to come see us perform those songs, and maybe wanting to buy our merchandise and that sort of thing. But it's the record industry is basically unrecognizable compared to what it was back.
Sure. Now the digital age did change. It changed everything. The digital age. Everything. But I tell you what, you guys put out an official music video. That's the thing. You got to put out an official music video.
Yeah, we'll be doing that.
We'll get that up on Rock Titan TV. If
we do a record, you'll be seeing Rough Cutt videos.
Yeah, good stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I keep busy around here. I do Ultimate Jam Night up at the Whiskey every month or so, and go up, and that's great. Those guys are all great. I like what they're doing. Really keeping classic, metal and rock alive up there at the Whiskey, and they've got some good charities going on. Chuck and Paulie and all the guys up there, so I like supporting that. So you'll see me up there maybe once a month or so, doing a couple songs. So I kind of do that. But I was fortunate enough to get to play with my old friend Stephen Pearcy for a number of years.
Who's that?
Just recently.
Stephen Pearcy. That name sounds familiar. No, I'm teasing, man. I'm teasing.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, nah. We just had him out in Philly, man. It was great. He's still got his pipes, man. He can still sing, man. That's great.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun to get together.
That's awesome.
He and I are are the oldest of friends. I mean, I don't even want to tell you how old a friend we are. But,
yeah, no. Well, obviously you go back. I mean, to like the 70s.
Well, we co-founded
Mickey Ratt.
Mickey Ratt,
Yeah.
which became Ratt.
Yeah.
And he and I moved up to. We were from San Diego originally, right? And this is a whole story in itself. I won't go into the whole thing, but it's an interesting. I'm actually gonna do a book about this.
I was going to ask you about the whole book thing, yeah, because you've got so many stories, you know, and I know Steven's had his book out, and Sebastian Bach's had his book out, you know. It's like
everybody's got a book
time for Chris Hager
you know?
to get a book out
I
there,
don't
you know.
Mine or not, but
Hey, man, it's just a matter of doing it the right way, you know. But I mean, clearly, I mean, you've got some great stories,
but there's definitely a story to be told there.
Yeah,
and a lot of the musicians that did something and did well in the '80s were from San Diego, and a lot of us knew each other down there. And around 1980, we realized that San Diego was not the place to be if you wanted to get anywhere in the music industry.
Got to head to the Sunset Strip.
Was.
Yeah, right.
And so, Stephen talked me into moving up here with him. But man, we lived in a garage for like a year, and started playing shows and stuff. But and then a bunch of other people started making the move. You had guys like Jakey and the other guys, Robin, all the guys from Ratt. I could go on and on.
Sure.
And so it's an interesting story, and but yeah, those were our humble beginnings. In fact, I've posted some stuff recently on Facebook, some old pictures of us from way back, man. I'm talking 76, 77. It's crazy, funny stuff.
That's wild, man.
So if you want to take a look,
yeah, man. No, we'll definitely. We got the links up here. We got the links up here for everyone to go check out. But the styles back then, I don't know that that'll ever be rivaled again. You know, seriously, dude.
Let's hope not.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Let's hope not.
Oh man,
but
that's
it was funny because during the Mickey Ratt years, Steve and I were experimenting with a lot of different looks. And, I mean, we'd go up on stage one night just wearing overalls or something. And
oh my God!
One night he said, I remember this. He says, "Hey man," he goes, "we need to go up there and wear these surgical outfits, right?" So we did, and then we kind of took them off, but it was funnier shit,
It's just all fun and games.
Nobody did that shit,
right?
And
well, you can do whatever you want when you're a rock star, man.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. That man had the vision. The day I met him, he had the vision. Yeah.
And, well, obviously the body of work speaks for itself.
He's had a big impact on my life.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man.
He's a dear friend.
No, that's awesome that you guys still stay in touch after all these years, man. That's very, very cool. Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very cool. All right. Well, Chris Hager, it has been an absolute pleasure and honor to speak with you, and I appreciate your time, man. I really do. And,
likewise, Scott.
Yeah,
anytime, man.
Yeah, definitely. And for everyone out there right now, you are watching Rock Titan TV. We've got Chris Hager, guitars for Rough Cutt, and they've got some new material that's going to be coming out soon. And, dude, I mean, hey, this is the whole resurrection of metal and rock, from the glory days, and bringing back a genre that, I think has been neglected for far too long. So
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. This will be awesome. Chris, thanks again, man. I really appreciate your time.
We're hoping to do something awesome for you
guys.
Man.
Yeah, no, definitely. And, we'll bring all the news out there and make sure everybody out there gets to hear about it.
Appreciate that.
All right, cool. You got it, man.
Scott, been great talking to you, brother.
Absolutely,
really appreciate it. Everybody out there, thanks. Hello, and I hope to see you all out there this year.
Very cool.
All right. Take care. Out.